Hey everyone, hope you're well. Welcome along to another video. This one I've been asked to do a few times by a few people, and it's introduction into the world of biking. Really starting at a basic level, and kind of the things you want to know before you jump in, before you go spend a load of money, just the things you need to kind of get into the whole biking world / lifestyle. It's one of the things that people often like come up to me and ask, like they wanted to comment something on my channel or on my Instagram. They didn't feel like they were able to because they're not part of the whole biking thing, or they feel a bit intimidated, they don't know how to get into it. So I thought this video would be a really good opportunity, just kind of for them sort of people who are on the fence, don't know where it's for them, who want to comment but feel a little bit shy or something like that. So I thought it'd be a good video to make. The first thing, if you want to get into this whole biking lifestyle sort of thing, is I'd probably say do your research. For me, I was interested in bikes ever since I was young. But you don't want to go spending a load of money on gear and a load of effort, like looking at riding schools, if you're going to go down halfway down the road and do the test, do the theory, and go, you know what, this isn't for me. So watch your YouTube videos, read the Fast Bikes magazines, just really get a feel for if it's for you really. Before you go any further, just have a look if it's something that you are truly interested in, because it's not cheap and it is a big investment. So definitely worthwhile doing that. Once you've got that out of the way, the next step obviously is to book your theory test. It's not a really complicated test to do, but it's one of them tests that it really pays to revise. So before you do anything, just revise, and revise again. It sounds really daft and it sounds really simple, but if you put the time in, it really becomes an easy test, but you have to put the effort in and you have to put the time in. Once you've done that, the next step, you want to find a decent motorbike school, someone who's got a good reputation. Just check the reviews, have a Google, see if they're any good, see what their pass rate's like. You want to make sure you get on with your teacher. As again I said, it's a lot of money. So you want to make sure whoever's teaching you, you have a good sort of connection with them and they're going to be able to do the job and get you through your bike test where you need to be. Another point on that, try to show up to your tests wearing your own gear. A lot of places will supply it. You haven't got to go spend a bomb, but it does look quite good if you turn up and you've got the stuff on there rather than turning up in a tracksuit and hoodie. It just gives that right impression, which a lot of instructors do pay attention to, believe it or not. So turn up prepared for what you're taking part in, really. Once you've found a good training school, ask yourself a serious question. How far are you willing to go in this whole sort of motorbike thing? Are you going to stop at 125s? If that's the case, then by all means, go out there, spend money on a good 125, like Aprilia's 125 or the Yamaha 125, and enjoy it. If that's as far as you want to go, that's fine. I know people who are stuck with the 125 for getting to work and back, and they're more than happy with it. If that's the case, knock yourself out. Go for it, get a good one, you will enjoy it. If you plan on going that little bit further, don't do what I see a lot of youngsters doing nowadays, is they spend a load of money on a 125, and then a few months later, they have to trade it in for nowhere near what they bought it for because they're bored of it and they want to go to the next stage, and it just doesn't make financial sense. So be realistic with where you want to go with this. If you're going to stick at 125, that's fine. If you're not, and you know it's just a little stepping stone until you get your big license and your main license, then just get something to tide you over to get to work and back. Don't spend all your money on your very first bike. It's not the best idea, and you want to save your money for that big bike purchase. Now, you've got your bike, you've got your gear, it's all insured, you're finally out on the roads on your bike, and it's probably one of the best feelings you can get. For a lot of us who ride, it's not essential in the way that a car is. I need my car for work purposes, for getting about, for when the weather isn't great. It was an essential for me. A bike isn't an essential, but it's a massive part of my life. Now you're at the stage where you've done your license, you've done your theory test, you've got everything you want, you're now officially kind of part of the biker world, as it were. So you have to start looking at realistically the financial side of biking. Hopefully by this point you've probably picked what bike you're going to get, you kind of have a rough idea, but bear in mind you have to pay for your test, which I think at the moment is around the £800 to £900 mark, depending on who you go with. And then you've got the cost of like levers and that sort of thing. Don't just bear in mind the cost of the bike. You have to factor in the tax, the insurance. That's not going to be cheap for your first year. You've got to factor in, if you haven't bought the gear, the helmet, the levers, the boots, the gloves. Again, haven't got to spend a bomb, bit of stuff to think about. Where are you going to store your bike? Is it going to be kept outside? Because that'll affect your insurance. Have you got a garage to keep it in? Are you going to need paddock stands? Like I mentioned in one of my previous videos, there is essentials that I would suggest you get in to definitely factor in when you look at buying a bike. All these little things that quickly add up. You see a bike, you think, oh, brilliant, £2,000 for 600. Yeah, then you got your insurance, which is going to be another £1,000 on top. That £2,000 can easily escalate and become something that you may not have the money to actually fund, and you don't want to find yourself in that situation. You want to make sure that you're enjoying yourself, that you're getting the most out of your experience, and you want to have fun. That's what this is all about. Definitely be realistic with yourself, and remember, it is not a race. You learn for so many years of riding. I've been riding since I was probably 13, and I'm still learning. Every single time I go out, there's still little things I'm learning, things I pick up from people. You're always learning in this sort of whole motorbike world, and if you think that you've learned everything, then I guarantee you're wrong and you haven't, because even the top racers will continue to learn throughout their career. It's part of what we do. There's no rush. You can start off with a normal bike and work your way up. I've got my dream bike, the Aprilia. I'm 33. It took me that long to kind of get to what I've always wanted, but I've had bikes before that have definitely been on my list, like my GSX-R K6, which I still have got. It just takes time. Don't rush out there and think you have to have the best straight away, because you don't. Now you've done your research, you know you want to go, you've decided, yeah, I want to go for that big bike license. This is where it gets not complicated, but you have to pay attention to the rules. There are an A license, there is an A2 license, and there is your A1 license. Your A1 license is the first one you're gonna do really. It allows you to drive up to 125cc at 17 years of age. You can do that, not a problem. You can stay at that if you want to, as I said previously, or that'll be your first sort of stepping stone into the world of biking. Then you have your A2 license, and this is where things start getting a little bit more on the complicated side. You're going to be restricted to 47 horsepower for 2 years. And then once you've done that, you can do your A license, which allows you to basically ride any size bike, any power that you want. You can do this A license as long as you've held your A2 license for 2 years. So if you do it all at the right ages, you will be able to get your AE license quicker than what you would if you were to do it at, say, 24, which I think, if I'm correct, is the age you can do it like normally. But if you do your A2 license, 2 years on that, 21 years old, you can jump on anything you want. We've covered the 125 section, and I've spoke about if that's where you're going to stop, then go look for one of them bikes. There are many good ones out there. If you're at your A2 license and you need to stick at that for 2 years, have a look at what is available. By that I mean you have very good bikes out there. You've got the KTM 390, it's a really good bike for an A2 license. You've got a lot of the modern 400s cater for that sort of horsepower bracket. But if you want to definitely go up to your A license, look at things like the CB500, the new one, which is a lovely looking bike. I know someone who has one of them. I'll look at stuff like, I believe Aprilia are launching the RS660 with 97 horsepower. The reason why this figure of 97, 95 is important is because as long as they're around that mark and not over the 100 mark, you can restrict them to 47. This is important because you go out there, you buy a bike, they're not cheap, you go out there, you spend your £8,000, £9,000, you can restrict it to 47 horsepower. So for 2 years, you're going to have a bike that looks nice and also does everything you want it to do, kind of like learning your trade on it sort of thing. And then once your 2 years is up and you pass your A license, you can de-restrict that and you have a 95 horsepower bike, which is more than enough for someone who's just passed their test and to go out there and have fun on the road. You're not going to be bored of it, and it's not like you're buying a bike every 2 years to basically keep yourself entertained. You have one, you learn how to ride on it, you keep the same bike, you do a few changes and you're back on the road. It does make more sense to do it like that. I did that when I passed my test at 17. I had a GSX-R 600 Strad, which I restricted at the time when I did it. It was 33 horsepower. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't the fastest thing, but I learned the basics, how to carry corner speed, how to brake a little bit later. It's what I learned on it. 33 brake, you can get away with a lot more. I then took the restrictors out and it went up to the 100 horsepower that the Strad was supposed to be, and that felt like an absolute rocket ship. But again, I stuck with the same bike and it was just a restrictor kit and it didn't cost me a load of money. So if that's going to be the case, then I would definitely look at doing that sort of thing, because it will save you money in the long run. And also the bigger bikes tend to have a little bit more comfort with them. They tend to, I don't know, just have a little bit more something about them, which I do think that you'll enjoy. Really hope you enjoyed the video. If there's anything in there that you want a bit more information on, anything that I didn't mention, just anything bike related in general, please feel free to message me. Leave something in the comments section. I will get back to you. There is a lot of stuff to go through and I realise I may not have covered everything, but don't be shy, just drop a comment. And as I said, I was helped loads when I first started by my friends and that sort of thing, so it's the least I can do is help people who may want to get into biking. What I will say is, if you're on the fence but you're pretty sure you want to go for the whole biking thing, then please just do it. You will meet some of the best people you ever meet on a bike. I've met some of my best friends to this day on motorbikes, and just through meeting up and going to meets and that sort of thing. It is truly a lovely sort of community to be a part of. There's not a lot of negativity there. Everyone's there to help you. It's just a really, really cool thing to be a part of. So if you're thinking about it, then just go for it. I promise you won't regret it. On a separate note, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's taken the time out to comment, like, subscribe on my YouTube. Everyone who's following me on Instagram. It's been really, really good the last few weeks. Better than I could have ever hoped. So thank you very much for that. Some big stuff planned for Instagram and for YouTube. Got a giveaway coming. That should be pretty cool, so definitely want to be involved in that. But yeah, hope everyone out there is staying safe, and just take care of yourselves and everyone else. Bye.